This is a Rogue Media Network podcast. This is Central Texas Life with Ann Harder.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Central Texas Life. Ann Harder here with you. And we're going to talk about something that's really relatively new in Central Texas. It's called the McGregor Paw Patrol. And we have its creator, Katie Chadwell, and Kim Jukes. And Kim, you're the one that kind of reached out to me about a big event McGregor Paw Patrol is having in October, and it's an important thing.
It is, yeah. So we're trying to get some word out to the community about dog safety.
Yeah.
So a lot of people go out walking, when the weather starts getting cooler, and sometimes they're approached by loose dogs, and a lot of people don't know how to handle that. And so as a dog trainer, I wanted to kind of get some information out to our community on what to do if that happens.
Well, I mean, you're kind of helpless in a way. You're walking a dog on a leash. You may, you've got yours under control, but this other random animal is threatened or whatever goes in their heads as to why they need to go on the attack or on the approach. Yeah. Katie, tell me that it really was an experience that you had that kind of led you and Brooke Brooks to found McGregor Paw Patrol a year ago.
Yeah, so Brooke and I are both from a town north of Dallas where loose dogs are not an issue. It's not something, I grew up seeing or ever had seen until we moved to McGregor. And McGregor has a really big problem with dogs on the loose. And, with so much of McGregor being country area, we get a lot of dogs dumped from surrounding areas. And then also just, owners who are used to McGregor being a small town that just let their dogs run free. And, they don't know any better. They're not meaning to be malicious or anything. But my dog and Brooke actually too, they're both rescues. And so neither one is dog friendly due to, their own trauma and experiences. And so when I first moved to McGregor about 3 years ago, I had taken my dog out and a dog approached us and there was a dog fight. And luckily neither one was injured really bad. We didn't have to call the cops or anything, but it was super traumatic. And so my 3 years in McGregor, that was the one and only walk my dog has ever been on with me. And luckily I have a big backyard, so it's okay. But Brooke and I got to talking about it, and we thought, okay, well, let's just create something small. It'll be, 20 people. Like maybe if we're lucky, we'll get 20 people out of a town of 5,000. That seems realistic, and maybe we can just help, give people leashes or, help people understand what the leash laws are and what the animal laws are, and it has grown into this amazing thing. So we're a little over a year old, and we are now up above 750 members, which is incredible. And we have, partners like Kim. Kim's a great dog trainer that gives us advice and helps us out. And we did a Facebook Live with her for our members once with questions. We also have a bunch of rescues on board, people that help us with microchipping. It's really incredible. And we've also formed this really good relationship with our animal control officer, Rowdy, who is, I think, like the single best human on this planet.
Yeah.
And so it's been really cool. And, then this spring, Brooke got attacked while she was out walking with her dog. She lived in an apartment, so she had to walk her dog. And it was always a fear of hers. And, we were doing all this work to try and let people know not to let their dogs out. And a dog got out, and there was a big dog fight, and Brooke, intervened the best way she knew how at the time, and she ended up getting really, really injured.
I was going to say, the human's gonna catch it.
Yeah, so both of her hands and her arms got really torn up, and she got a bunch of stitches, and she's actually still dealing with a lot of pain. A whole year later, almost.
Trauma.
And yes, and so she has lots of nightmares and it's just been a really rough adjustment for her. And so in that moment after that attack, I think it just really propelled us even further of we have to make change happen here. Because we had actually 3 major attacks in less than a 3-month period in McGregor, Brooks being just one of them. And so another one, a dog got hurt, another one, a dog and a human got hurt, and that human was in the hospital for a few days.
Oh, my goodness.
It just really, for us, I think, provided fuel to our fire of we have to create change. And so luckily, our amazing friend, Kim, and then our other really amazing friend, Tim, who actually came up with the idea for this event we're going to tell you about, they got together because, we were still reeling. We were trying to get medical bills for Brooke, and we were trying to get her healed. And in the background, Kim and Tim came together and came up with an idea to help our town and to help us really propel our mission further. And so
so tell me about ABCDT. I see that on your
So
tag.
actually, that is my title.
People and
and Pups is the name of
Pups.
my company.
Okay.
I'm a certified dog trainer through Animal Behavior College, which is what the ABCDT stands for. Animal Behavior College.
So where do you
certified
go
dog
for
trainer.
that kind of training?
It actually started online. Animal Behavior College is a college out of California, where most of the book work is done online. And then they have, of course, hands-on stuff with a local trainer, where you do hands-on stuff. And they have also a program called Students Saving Lives, where you volunteer at a local shelter, and you have to put so many hours in order to get your certification. And of course, once my hours were in, I just continued to volunteer. I started at Fuzzy Friends with, of course.
Well, it's so important that
Yes.
because they want to put them in homes, forever
Yes.
homes, and to say, oh, this animal's trained. I mean, that's
Right.
huge.
Yeah, well, and sometimes, if the dog can't walk on a leash, they're not going to be able to
No,
get
they
out
don't.
the door,
Right.
So,
Yeah.
but yeah, so our friend Tim, he actually came to me and said, hey, so because of Brooke's incident, we need to get some, maybe an event out there to inform the public of what to do in this situation. And, I put my little thinking cap on and said, well, instead of me, standing in a room in front of a bunch of people,
Lecturing.
right,
Yeah.
right, with the PowerPoint presentation, I decided, what if we turn this into like an interactive thing? And so there are several techniques in which you can do to keep yourself safe. And I decided to turn each one of those techniques into a carnival game. Right? So
Okay.
you play the
It's gonna be
game
fun.
and you kind of get the
Sounds like
memory of
and
it.
good for kids, really, to learn
Absolutely.
these lessons too.
Kids and adults, and I mean, you're more likely to remember if you had to play this goofy game, right?
Yeah, no, that's true.
And you win a prize.
Yes,
Let's
oh,
talk
yeah.
about
Oh,
the
and
other
there-
piece
oh, yes,
of this.
there are
here.
prizes.
Prizes involved.
But
That's-
wait.
that's even better. So where is this going to be held? And it is October the what?
October 22nd, and it's going to be at Amsler Park. So it's a Sunday, October 22nd, from 12 to 4, and it'll be at Amsler Park in McGregor. And so McGregor was generous and gracious enough to give us the entire park, which is
Wow.
amazing. And so I will also say, like, City of McGregor, ever since Brooke's attack and the few others, they've really taken a hard look at animal laws and the money they're putting into animals, and they have really tried to back us as much as possible, which is really cool. So we've had some big meetings that our animal control officer's been invited to, and the city manager has actually suggested that me or one of my representatives go as well, which is such a neat thing that he wants to include us in this problem-solving process.
Yeah, and this is something that anybody is invited to. I mean, you don't even
Absolutely.
necessarily have to be a pet owner. You might just be somebody who likes to walk.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And need to know some of this important information. Yeah, this is going to be great. Do you have a plan B if it rains?
So we have canopies.
I mean,
We're
it
asking
might
everybody-
rain.
It
yeah,
might
so
rain.
someday.
So
we
we
do
hope.
need rain.
We think it might rain. But
So we've asked all of our vendors, which we have a ton of vendors
you
actually.
really? Oh,
Yeah,
how fun, yeah.
we're up to I think 38 vendors
Super.
plus 8 food trucks. But we've asked them, of course, to plan for the rain and do canopies.
Yeah, okay.
So that it's a little covered. So, but certainly it's going to be a good time, rain or shine.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
So.
you'll be able to do that. Well, I want to know a little bit more about the two of you. Katie, you said you came from the Dallas area. So what brought you to Central Texas?
Yeah, so I'm actually a mental health counselor. That's like my real gig. I don't get paid for the animal
I
stuff,
was gonna
but
say, you have a regular
No.
job.
Yes, I have a regular job. I am a mental health counselor for kids, actually with the Heart of Texas Behavioral Health Network, Clara Center for Families, just right down the road.
Yeah.
So I was looking in the Dallas area for jobs, and Dallas is just really oversaturated with what at the time was called LPC interns. It's now LPC associates. And so I could not find a full-time gig in the Metroplex because there were so many interns there. And so I saw this job posting here in Waco and did what I think is like the bravest thing I've ever done in my whole life. I moved to a town where I knew nobody,
Aw.
all by myself, like 2 hours from anyone I
And
knew.
now you've got like 700 friends
And I've got
suddenly
like
through.
750 friends. It's the best thing ever.
It's
Plus all my
amazing.
work people. And so
Yeah.
I moved for the job, and it's been really great. I think I've really been able to find my place here. I do a lot of news interviews for mental health. I
Yes.
started a gang prevention program for the youth here in Waco. and then also started McGregor Paw Patrol. So I feel like I'm actually making my mark on Central Texas a little bit, which is cool.
We could. I'll book you again, and we can do. Yeah,
love that.
Definitely do a podcast about young people and what all is facing them. You know, it's a tough time, but you know, pets are so important in the life of a family, and certainly for children to learn responsibility, learn how to take care of, you know, a creature.
So pets are definitely like my passion project because
sounds like it. Tell
I
me
grew
about
up
your
with
dog.
Dogs. Yeah, so my dog Lucy is the best dog in the whole world.
Okay.
She, right? I'm sure you're gonna say the same.
Yeah.
About
Hopefully
yours,
we have a
but-
picture so you can
Yes,
see who
I'll
Lucy
show
is.
you a picture.
Yeah.
She's precious and wonderful. So she's 8. She came from Humane Society as well. She is like the most empathic creature I've ever met in my life. So if I'm ever like sad or crying, she is instantly in my lap and giving me the best like nurturing.
I know.
You know, I grew up with dogs that were the same. I actually, when I was little, I was attacked by a dog. So until I was like 10, I was terrified of dogs.
Okay.
Believe it or not. And my dad always teases me now because he's like, the girl that wouldn't go in a house with a dog is now saving dogs on the daily. And so this is definitely where my heart is, and definitely, you know, my passion. I feel very honored that people trust me and, you know, let me do this because I think it gives me great purpose.
Well, there's quite an evolution for you, you know, considering because something like that for a child, I mean, that can leave mental and emotional scars as well as, you know, physical ones.
Absolutely. Yeah.
For sure. Okay, so tell me, Kim, about your pet. I presume you have a dog.
I actually have 5 dogs.
All right. Silly question.
And they're all rescues.
Sure.
They're all mixes from big. I have a big Great Dane mix down to
Oh,
a
my
Chihuahua.
goodness.
So I mean, I've got every size
And I bet the
imaginable.
Chihuahua thinks it's a Great Dane.
Sometimes, yeah. So actually, she is a chicken killing Chihuahua, and so she ended up with me because her previous owner didn't like her killing their chickens.
Yeah, I got in
So,
trouble.
but I figured a chicken killing Chihuahua is going to be able to stand up to my big dogs that I have. I have a boxer mix. I have in my Great Dane, Great Pyrenees mix. I have.
Oh, man, 2 of the biggest breeds you can think of.
I know, right?
Oh, my word. How much dog food do you buy every
You know, I don't even
You don't even
look.
think about it.
That's my husband's job.
Yeah,
pay the
percent of
dog
your
food.
budget's going to dog food.
A lot of it.
Man. But you know, the thing about rescues, though, it's like they know it.
Yes.
They know
They do.
Absolutely.
that you have saved them.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
they're
I
amazing.
can't explain it, but
Yeah, and I have a special place in my heart for special needs dogs. And so my big dog, my Great Dane mix, she is partially blind.
Oh,
Her eyes never formed when she was a puppy. She ended up at the Humane Society. Got pulled by a rescue, and that's how we ended up with her. And then I have another dog that she's a Pyrenees Lab mix, and she's got a condition called megaesophagus, so she can't eat like a regular dog. Her esophagus doesn't work properly, so she has to eat in a chair to kind of get the food down into her stomach instead of into her lungs.
I mean, do you strap her in? How does that work?
So it's kind of like a baby high chair where it kind of has a little place for your bowl in front of her.
But just her positioning.
But her positioning
not like
is
a
that
normal dog.
she's elevated, right? And some dogs, I mean, she has a very mild part of this disease, whereas some dogs have it more severe, where they can't even drink water. I'm
I've
very
never heard of
lucky
this.
she's not. But yeah, there's a lot of dogs, and a lot of the bigger dogs are ones that have it, and we believe that she was born with it, and she ended up at a shelter.
So she was probably malnourished.
She's a lot smaller than you would expect a Lab Pyrenees mix to be, because she didn't get all the nutrition as she was growing up. But she ended up in this shelter in Arlington. Her mom loved her very much, but became homeless, and couldn't take care of her. It's very hard to take care of a dog like that when you're living out of your car. And so we went up and picked her up, and the rest is history. So. And then I have, reactive dogs and behavior dogs, because, well, that's what I do.
Yeah. Oh.
So, as a trainer working with, the Humane Society as well as people who have dogs that have behavioral issues, it's so wonderful to see the change in the dogs when that happens,
We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we will hear more from these lovely ladies about McGregor Paw Patrol. Stay with us.
Hi, I'm Christine, and I'm an alcoholic. Here's the deal. Everybody knows somebody that has suffered from the disease of addiction. I want to invite you to listen to Purpose Driven Sobriety, where we have real conversations with real people that have suffered from the disease of addiction and have gone on to thrive. Here, we shine light into the darkness that is addiction. You can find Purpose Driven Sobriety on Facebook or anywhere you get your podcasts.
Hey y'all, I'm April,
Hi, I'm Caroline.
and we have a new podcast for you. What's it called, Caroline?
Bloody Happy Hour.
It's going to be your new favorite guilty pleasure. We're going to talk about some bloody stuff. Serial killers, true crime,
Rape.
rapists. Why not join us? We'll have a good time.
You literally never know. I don't know what I'm going to say. Bloody Happy Hour. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts. 911, what's your emergency?
Do you hear that? It's coming from the house.
It's coming from inside the house? Do you mean? Could it be?
The Poltergeist. New from Rogue Media. Two haunted hotties talking about haunted places. Every episode, we dive deep into the darkest places and give you a bit of history.
We're getting spooky in all the right places.
You've gobbled your last ghoul.
Follow along for the craziest and spookiest stories with Debbie's Dark Tourism. The Stanley Hotel,
Winchester House,
The Alamo,
Hotel Monte Vista.
and more spooky places. Find us at _Poltergals. POLTERGALS.
Look over your shoulder. It's us,
The Poltergals. Wherever you consume the podcast, you can find us there.
And we are back with Katie and Kim with McGregor Paw Patrol and your huge event on the 22nd of October. It is going to be a festival.
Yes.
I mean, it's more than, it's educational. It's really
Yes.
important education about what to do if a stray dog comes toward you as you're walking, jogging, walking your dog. That's important information, but it's going to be a fun time too.
It is. It is.
So we've got some really cool things that we've been putting together. So the first thing I want to mention is one of Paw Patrol's biggest partners is Cribs for Canines, and Michelle Ann has been like my #1 mentor in this rescue world, and we did a chipping event in McGregor, I think it was last December, and we chipped, I think it was 27 animals, which is a really successful day. And so they have agreed to actually come chip any animal for no matter city of residence. Anyone that shows up with an animal that needs it chipped, they can be chipped and have it registered for free, which is
Wow.
amazing.
That's good.
We also have one of my members that is going to do some face painting. We got a photo area, so McGregor General Store is lending us some hay bales, and Robinson Family Farms is
Oh,
donating
and you can
some
take
pumpkins.
a portrait with your
Yes.
puppies.
And we
So you
also, for that, we have a professional dog or a professional pet photographer that
Yeah?
is going to be there.
Oh,
And
good.
can do family portraits
Oh, my
for you
goodness.
as well. Or you can just do a quick little selfie in our
Yeah,
little area.
yeah.
Yeah, so you can choose which level. You could do a free picture, or you can have something a little nicer if you want to pay a little money, which is such
Yeah.
a unique opportunity.
Oh, this is amazing. This is a wonderful event that you've got going, and it is free. But you're suggesting a donation of
Yes, of pet food. So
Oh, there
any
we
pet
go.
food, cat food, dog food.
some of it's going to your house. No, I'm
Yes.
just kidding.
So there is a lot of wonderful programs in Waco that a lot of people don't know about.
Yeah.
One of them is the Human Animal Support Services, or HAS, program that is put on a lot by the Humane Society. And they, for any dog that, let's say you can't afford to feed your dog and your only option is to surrender them to the shelter
Yeah.
because you can't afford them.
Right, and
Well,
that
the
happens.
HAS program will give you dog food or pet food, so much per month to help you get through your tough time so that the dog doesn't have to come to the shelter. They also, if your fence is broken, and your dog keeps getting out and keeps, getting impounded, if you will, to the shelter.
Yeah, or threatening, being a
or
problem.
threatening other people.
Yeah, being
They have a
problem.
program that can help fix fences.
Oh, that's great.
They also, if you have a behavior dog, right? They hire, help trainers. They'll come out and assess your problem and perhaps help you fix it.
They can also help with vet bills. We have a couple people in McGregor that they're helping with right now that we're going to have to surrender the animals because they couldn't afford the vet bill. And the HAS program has been really wonderful. We've been able to refer some people there, and they're helping with the vet bills that are going to keep these animals in home. So, like, literally life-saving work.
Absolutely. And another program, Meals on Wheels actually has a pet food program for their clients, right? So your elderly people that are getting meals, they have pets too.
Sure.
And they do provide some pet for that. So some of the donations for your admission, if you will, to the festival will go to them. It'll also go to
McGregor Paw Patrol. So we also give food to people in need if we have it, obviously. So I have a storage unit that partially is my own stuff, but mostly is truthfully like Paw Patrol stuff. So we have kennels that have been donated. If someone can hold a dog overnight, then I can bring them a kennel to hold the dog in overnight. I give food to people all the time. And so I have a bunch of supplies that have been donated from some of our rescue partners and then also from the community. And so I keep it all in my storage unit. And if someone calls and says, I need dog food, I say, okay, great. Like, I'll be by after work. Let me run by storage and I'll bring it by after I get off tonight. And so part of it will go to us too to help the McGregor community.
Yeah, oh man, that is great because every once in a while I'll see somebody will have a kennel and they'll go, anybody want this? What do I do with this?
Me.
Here we go. I mean, what a great resource that is for folks.
Yeah, it's wonderful, and we're really excited about it. And some other cool things that we have going on at the event is McGregor Garden Club is coming, and they're going to hand out information on plants that are safe for dogs and plants that are toxic to dogs.
That's right. There are some things that are not good to have around, and because they tend to want to eat things. And
and we have a realtor coming that's going to talk about housing and the struggles with pets and how to overcome those. And if you want to talk about...
So there's one that just got confirmed last night, and it is a brand new person that just got certified to teach pet first aid and CPR, and she's going to have a booth there as well, possibly with some demonstrations on that.
Good.
So again, something for you to know, also to help your dogs.
So, and then we've got a bunch of rescues on board that are bringing animals that'll be up for adoption. And then I'm just going to say my favorite part, because I also volunteer at Humane Society, is they're going to bring their big adoption truck, and then we're going to have a kissing booth for the adoption dogs at Humane Society. Which is like my favorite thing in the whole world. If you're looking for me, that's where I'll be.
The kissing booth.
The kissing booth, kissing all those puppies.
Oh,
so that is a really fun thing that, we've got Humane Society of Central Texas on board. They're going to bring a bunch of animals, and then a bunch of our rescues. I don't remember how many it is, but we've got a bunch of them that are bringing animals for adoption.
There's quite a few.
So there will be lots of options if you're looking for animals. I know some are bringing cats, some are bringing dogs.
Some of them are just bringing information. When you have that many dogs in one area, you can get kind of crowded.
And it could get noisy. But yeah, you're going to have a lot of informational booths and some of these groups that could use donations, but you could use donations obviously, and volunteers as well.
So we need volunteers. That's one thing we're asking for. Another thing we're asking for right now is we are hoping to hand out leashes and collars to as many people as we can, because of we've been talking about this problem is some people just can't afford leashes and collars, and so they just let their
expensive.
dogs out.
You can go to PetSmart and spend it.
Oh my gosh, so much I could go broke. So we're
and
gathering,
it's all so cute.
It's so cute. So we're gathering leashes and collars right now, and we've been really lucky. We've had a lot of people donate so far, so we're gonna hand out some leashes and collars to people. We are looking for volunteers for games. Our sign-in table, cribs will need some help with the chipping. We usually have volunteers help with the paperwork so that owners can hold their animals and not let them loose. We have someone help fill out paperwork.
Oh, that's a good idea.
So
because that's a problem.
So if you want to volunteer, the easiest way I think would be to message either Kim or I on Facebook, or join McGregor Paw Patrol, and you'll see me. I'm all over the page. And we started a volunteer Facebook group, and so if you'd like to volunteer, just message one of us, and we will get you added to that group.
Absolutely. One more thing about the leashes and collars, though. So sometimes your leashes might get worn out, and maybe they're not working as well. So there is a local company here called Serendipity. I think that's I don't know the whole name of it, but Serendipity, and she actually will take used leashes and reuse the hardware to make new leashes and new collars and donate those to different rescues in town. So even if you wanted to bring leashes as a trade-in, give us an old one, we'll give you a new one.
Yep.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, we have it all. And then we also have vendors that are non-pet related, putting that out there too. So we've got a lady who makes jewelry. We've got a lady who does antiques. We've got, I think, Mary Kay. We've got all sorts of stuff.
So I mean,
It's going to be a party.
It is.
Great.
It is.
It's gonna be amazing.
And of course, and also, some of the food trucks we have coming too. We've got Yummy's Italian Ice and a
Should've had
little
my list.
donut thing.
Oh yeah,
and
sugar coat mini donuts.
Yes.
got
Southern Root is going to be there with a booth as well.
My favorite one, we have a snack cart coming that makes custom mini pancakes in front of your face. So also, if I'm not at the kissing booth, find me there.
You'll be eating the pancakes.
I will be eating the pancakes.
And this is during the day on Sunday, the 22nd of October,
Yes.
starting at noon.
Yes.
Starting at
So
noon.
after church,
Yep.
head
After
on,
church,
head
come on over.
pick up the dog and
Yeah,
head on
come
over there.
and bring the kids. Like I said, there'll be face painting games. We've got prizes. Yesterday, we had a really generous donor in McGregor actually donate 2 homemade dog houses that they built.
how
So one is
fabulous.
valued at $250. One is valued at $100.
Oh, neat.
He owns a roofing company actually, and put like actual shingles on it.
Yeah, so it's a solid,
They're beautiful.
well-built.
Oh my
yeah.
gosh, I was super
Yes.
impressed. So those will be our grand prizes that we will be giving away. That we are really, really excited about.
Yes.
Oh, well,
gonna be
that
good.
that is just awesome. You guys, you've thought of everything. Yeah, this is going to be great. And you have a Facebook page. You have a website.
Yes, also
that
have
is
a website.
that is wonderful because, in fact, you even have McGregor pet ordinances on there. You can easily go and get the information that you need to be that responsible pet owner.
Absolutely.
You need to be, but you talk about being in a little bit more rural area. Is it still a real big problem? People just dumping. I just
Yes.
hate seeing little
Yes.
litters of kittens and puppies.
Yes.
So
So
how
this
can anybody
year-
do that?
I'm telling you, it is heartbreaking. So I was just telling Kim earlier today. So whenever we help an animal in any way, if we scan it for a microchip, if we give it food, if we help it get to a rescue, or even just to Humane Society, I usually snap a picture. There are some I haven't, just because owner privacy, or if the animal passes away, I don't always get a picture.
Right,
but
right.
I have pictures of 77 animals that we have helped since January alone of this year, and that doesn't even include the ones we did last year. That's just since January. And so the true number, if we include the ones without that I haven't taken photos of, would probably be closer to about 90 since January alone, in a town of 5,000 people in whatever we're 8 months now, 8 months in. And so it is an insanely huge problem here. Having animals dumped out, especially out in the country part. And that's
They're
really
not good. I mean, the idea for them to fend for themselves, really?
it's horrible. It's
It
what
is
they're
horrible.
covered in usually like fleas
Of
and
course.
ticks and all sorts of things. And so
Oh, it's-
our
it's
animal
cruel.
control officer Rowdy has just, he is literally the best partner and has become like honestly one of my closest friends. We talk like every
Yeah.
day. And it's funny, like on the weekend, if he hasn't heard from me by about noon on Saturday, he's like, "Hey, you
What's
good?
going on?"
You up? Like any dog stuff?" And so it's really neat to have his partnership.
Yeah.
And then we've got really great partners at Humane Society as well that help us. And
Yeah,
all
there's
our
lots of
rescues.
resources. I mean, it
Absolutely.
should never be an option to
No,
dump
to
your
just set little defenseless animals
no,
out on
and
the
they're
side
puppies.
of a road.
And
Yeah, they're
sometimes
little.
it's in town. I guess a few months ago, we found little 6-week-old Pyrenees pups dumped right in front of the AT&T building, right in the middle of town, right in the middle of McGregor, dumped out there. And luckily, we got them to a rescue out in Bryan College Station called Long Way Home.
Yeah.
CCPR in Gatesville, Coryell County Pet Rescue has taken, I think, 12 for us this year alone. Just to be, keep them out of the shelter. And so Barbie over there has been a huge help with us. Cribs for Canines has partnered with us to help pay medical bills for some that are injured that we find. And then at City McGregor, I think right now 3 people holding dogs that have been found, and we post them everywhere. No one's come forward, and these people, I bring them food, and they're holding them and keeping them safe and giving them baths, and doing this idea of like, I don't remember what Julia at Humane Society calls it, but like community sheltering,
Right.
And that's what we're really trying to create in McGregor is a movement that spreads outside of McGregor too.
Yeah. Well, it's a massive problem, but you're making great strides. strides, it looks like, in
Trying.
educating people. And yeah, okay, just quickly before we wrap this up, we've talked about, you're out, a dog runs out. What's the first thing you do or not do?
So the first thing is if you see them coming at you from a distance, is to exit, leave.
Get as
turn
far
around
away.
and go the other way.
Yeah.
And then there's plan ahead is the other thing.
Be on
right?
the lookout for that kind
Right.
of thing.
So before you leave the house, make sure you have the right things with you, whether it be an air horn or a jacket tied around your waist. I mean, these are all things that can help you. An umbrella, right? Take an umbrella as a walking stick instead of a stick. And like say, be informed and be prepared when you leave the house. That
so
is
do
the
you,
first
if
thing.
you have a smallish dog, do you pick that dog up
So
or not?
Yes.
I mean, that's
and
would
it
be
kind
my
of
first
depends,
reaction.
right? So my little dog, I've had loose dogs out in my area as well.
Sure.
Had one coming running towards me, and yes, I did. I picked her up because it was quicker for me to do that and get out.
Yeah,
you
could get away quicker.
Absolutely. But with my bigger dogs, obviously I can't do that.
No.
So we make a quick exit strategy, and we practice that quite a bit.
Smart.
To do emergency turnaround and get the heck out of Dodge, if you will.
Yeah.
So-
yeah.
And I think it's about being like aware. What you were saying a minute ago,
Yeah.
and too, is I think it's easy, and I'll own that. Like it's easy to get lost in my phone, scrolling through Facebook mindlessly, right? And oh, there's this dog out, and then I lose track of what's going on around me. And so when I go walk, I don't take my dog, but when I walk alone, I'll put I'll get my podcast on, I'll get my AirPods in, and my phone is not allowed to exit my pocket while I'm walking. It's like a personal thing for me because I know that if a dog is coming, I want to see it as far away as I can
And
so
not
that
be
I have time to
distracted.
react. Right.
See, and I'm the opposite of you. I don't even have headphones in at all because I want to be able to hear
hear.
it coming
Sure.
ahead of time.
Sure.
Well, and dogs, they're territorial,
Yeah.
and so it's probably a territory that they're.
I mean, it could
protecting.
be any number of reasons
Yeah.
why they're there.
Yeah.
Just the other day, I had a little one in our neighborhood that he got out and he just didn't know what to do, and he just comes running up to anybody he sees.
Right.
But
So
thankfully,
he wasn't threatening. He was like, "Somebody help me."
Yeah, he was just like, "Oh, hey, you're a friend," But even still,
But you don't know when
Exactly.
they're making a beeline
and
for
and
you.
especially if you have a dog, you don't know what your dog is going to do if they
That's
make it all
right.
the way to you. So
right.
have an exit strategy.
Yeah.
That's my biggest
Great
tip.
advice. Well, it's been a delight. Thank you so much, ladies, Katie and Kim. And this is going to be October 22nd, and you can go to Facebook, McGregor Paw Patrol, and your
Yep,
website
we've got it
is
everywhere.
.org.
Yep, McGregorPawPatrol.org.
Okay.
And if you go to our Facebook page, McGregor Paw Patrol, or even just one of our personal pages, I feel like I'm posting it like 4 times a week. So we have an actual event you can RSVP to.
Okay, good.
So you can look it up under
People and Pups.
Yep.
I have a page as well, and
Okay,
I've been
People
sharing
and
that
Pups.
everywhere.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then it's all linked to the same event. So
Oh.
Yeah, and so if
Really
you search
exciting.
Paw Safe Fall Festival on Facebook, I think the event will come up. So if you want to bypass our pages, you can just search Paw Safe Fall Festival and RSVP to the event there. Obviously, you don't need to RSVP, but it kind of helps us to gauge how many people are coming.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be a good time.
It
Food
is.
and drinks, and we've got a tea cart coming. We've got beer. We've got vendors. We've got dogs. It's gonna be great.
it's going to be
It's
It's gonna be
wonderful.
amazing.
A fun time to be had by all. And we love our little furry friends. I mean, they mean so much to us
Yes.
in our homes, and we want the best for them. And yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you both so much. And
thank
thank you
you.
for being with us. And we'll be back next time with Central Texas Life. See you later. Bye-bye.
Central Texas Life with Ann Harder is part of the Rogue Media family. Be sure to check out our other shows at roguemedianetwork.com. Please rate this show 5 stars on iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, or anywhere you get your podcasts. Join us again soon for more Central Texas Life with Ann Harder. This has been a Rogue Media Network production.